call it a booth. It's a glorious tent. What kind of tent is this? I'm Ravi Vasudevan on the mic with me this morning.
I don't know my tent kinds, but I think we should probably stop talking about the tents and first and foremost talk about what's going on, because things have changed rapidly this morning in Bruges. Originally, the women's division was supposed to have power pools, 2 pools of 4 where the top 2 move on to semis. Because of some rain delays and some storm warnings for tomorrow, fields getting canceled, that has all been changed. We're now playing quarterfinal matchups here in the women's division, and there'll be semifinals later today, and only the finals we played tomorrow on the turf where we can actually play ultimate. So this used to be kind of an easy power pool game. You still had chances. Now it's a do-or-die thing. We got jinX in black from Berlin, Germany. We got Valkyria in white from Stockholm, Sweden. We'll talk a bit more about how these teams got here later on. But yeah, right now we're about to get started in some quarterfinal action here in Bruges.
We are indeed. Valkyria coming out on defense to start us off. Had a really interesting game yesterday against Schau, which was obviously for the looking at the bye round. They have a bit of a shorter roster here, but jinX, we saw them on the stream the first day of the tournament. Some issues getting their offense flowing, so hopefully they'll be able to come out with that mentality change and be nice and strong out here to get us underway. And it's going to be a bit of a spicy biscuit going up first off for jinX, but a nice pack under it and received well by Mondel. So far side, Robin's on the mark, the American playing for the Swedish side, Valkyria. Oh, nice. Close defense. But jinX working it through nicely here. Coming through with the centering. Number 6, Lisa Rieder, key part of the jinX handler set.
Stoppage of play.
Just a nice simple pick. I believe this is the first time these two teams have matched up at this tournament. Valkyria coming out in with a very good top line, but that's a nice pass to Nikki Prin, the household name who, how long has she been playing for jinX now?
This is the first time I've ever seen her play for jinX, so I don't know if she played for her back before she moved to the UK or something ages ago, but it's the first time I've ever seen Nikki Prin playing for the Berliners.
Certainly a very experienced individual, and doesn't always kind of feature, I think, in jinX's play as one might expect for the caliber of player she is, but she's happy to come on and just make those differences in the momentum thus far we've seen from this German side. So, Ravi, the change of the format, how does this specifically impact these two teams? How's their record been so far? Has maybe we've seen some teams that have lost out from the sudden change of the fields?
No team has lost out yet. All teams that made the power pool rounds who were in the top 8 before are still in the top 8. It's just that now, before you had kind of a few chances, you had 3 games, had to make top 2 of a group to move on. Now you just have 1 game, win that, go to semis.
So jinX managing to come out with a nice clean hold to get us started in this round. Let's see how Valkyria are gonna respond. Coming out with a horizontal stack here. Eklund. Saw her going deep quite a lot in the Schau game, but not managing to have the disc thrown quite to the length of her full cuts. Caldwell now pops it across to the other Eklund, Sophia. The 2 Eklund sisters here for this Swedish team. Nice patience, Eklund. Doesn't like the shot up field. An uncontested foul. We see Valkyria now melted into a vertical stack. Easy ball in front, but chooses the reset around to her sister. Barbora Kundalita, the Lithuanian. Oh, and a big expansive play. Eklund to Eklund, running it down. Gerner on the attack, just enough pressure. Unable to make the bid.
It seems like that throw is a little bit too close to the sideline. Eklund not able to reel it in. We've got Gerner, Eklund. Great matchup to watch. Gerner, player who many people may expect to be playing on an offensive line on this team, but you might see her wrist there in a brace. She's actually not able to throw forehands with her right hand. Occasionally she can throw a backhand, but so far this tournament she's been throwing mostly lefty. So I think because of that, she's been moving her talents onto the defensive line for jinX.
Absolutely. Players are familiar with Gerner. They will know she can cause you mischief either side of the disc, because we see an overthrow for jinX, giving the disc straight back to Valkyria with a just a few yards to go. Nice pass into the middle again to Eklund, centering this offense. Van Nijt. Kundelite. Bora, having played against Valkyria in the European Indoor Championships pre-pandemic. They liked her so much that they invited her to play.
Can't blame him, Hannah.
Oh, absolutely. Eklund takes a little bit of contact, but slices it through to her sister, and a bit of confusion there gives jinX this back.
Just testing her ankle there. I hope it's okay. She definitely didn't look comfortable. But seems like she's going to play on.
You can see the little bit of tension there in her shoulder, definitely. As you say, this would be a big piece to lose for Valkyria. Getting us back underway. GER up line, big pressure from Eklund, but takes it in confidently. Nice around. A bit of a lack of continuation. GER going into the deep space. Nice break around to Jasper. Moving it across. Sideline starting to get a bit more involved. This is good, patient offense, but Valkyria doing a great job of shutting off options A and B. Wagner. It's going to launch it to GER after looking at that around backhand. It's going to sit and hang. Eklund putting on the pressure and just about does enough, and it bobbles out of the hand.
So Valkyria with a chance to hold here. I believe that they've turned it over twice now, gotten it back. jinX line not able to convert on their break opportunities so far this game. It was something we saw out of Valkyria actually against KUSB. Shout, I was watching the beginning of that game. Their D-line generating lots of turns but not able to convert. jinX with that problem so far this game.
Yeah, definitely very different conditions here. This is much quieter in terms of both wind and the rain, although we're going to have to make the most of it while it lasts, because, of course, one of the reasons we've changed the schedule of this division here is the fact that the rain is expected to come in at 6 o'clock this evening and not stop pretty much until tomorrow. So it's going to be a bit of a slippery and slidey, so we can keep players safe and the pitch is in okay condition. That's why we're changing the format here. Nice work from Valkyria, ripping up yards, fast sideline, good reset. Nice little turn there for the number 27, the spirit captain for the Valkyria side, Melnikova. Looking a little bit lost for options. It's just going to have to release the pressure to Sophia Eklund, who receives it beautifully. Knocking on the doorstep of the goal for Valkyria. Dish back. Nice pops around, Eklund. Melnikova. Pops up a high one. Asks too much of Eklund though. And jinX given another opportunity for the break.
Very impressed by that jinX defense. Sometimes when a huck goes off like that, you get a bit deflated, and then the easy score happens on the continuation. But jinX buckled down, clamped down, and shut down all the options in the end zone and forced a very high, difficult pass. Got another chance as a break here.
Absolutely, and that would put them just the nose above. There's enough talent, certainly, on Valkyria to forge a comeback, and a timeout call by Captain Anna GER. Pretty happy with that, Ravi.
Yes, Anna GER and Caroline Thyssen playing with each other, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was 2017, some year around there, that I saw them both play on these pitches in the final when they were playing as the German under-24 national team against, I believe it was Gentle, and that was a phenomenal game. It was actually the first game I ever called with Benji Rees, and so it's good to see them back out here.
Yeah, and fond memories. Everyone loves to work with Benji, one of our commentary pals.
Hannah, do you know, is Anna GER a Eurostar at some point?
She was indeed,
so
in 2019.
We've got on the field here, we've got at least three. We've got Anna GER, Sarah Eklund, Barbara Kundelitz, and Nikki Priyan was also a Eurostar, so at least four.
Yes,
We'll see if I can remember a few more through the ages here.
Yeah, a brilliant program. For those not familiar, there's plenty of tape available from those games. The project, of course, being all about increasing visibility of women's sport to inspire women and girls worldwide to take up the sport of ultimate, and also to show that even though the North Americans are pretty dominant at the club and international level, Europeans can stick it to them occasionally too. 2019, there was only one game that the Americans won in the Americas Cup, and that was in Raleigh. Raleigh managed to...
and they had a Eurostar of their own on that squad, with Anna Chesky playing with Raleigh Phoenix that season.
They did indeed.
So they needed a European star to beat the Eurostars themselves.
Oh, I like that way of thinking about it, Ravi. I'm a big fan of that.
So coming out of this timeout, Anna Gerner will pick up the disc. I'm guessing Sarah Eklund will stay on that matchup. It's been a fantastic one to watch so far. Eurostar versus Eurostar.
Absolutely. As you say, we normally see Gerner playing offense. Oh, it's been a switch.
They've gone from one Eklund to the other. And now it'll be Sophia Eklund guarding Gerner.
Well, both of the Eklunds are pretty good. Although it's been a shame to see them not quite connect so far. Sister connections, we love them. Gerner with the lefty backhand to Wagner. Nice reaching grab, just tippy-toeing it, Riedel. Nice high grab. Gerner makes it look easy. Toussaint has the deep cuts available. Marked by Kundalita. This is good flow from jinX. Oh, nice racy up cut, line cut. Oh, and it's a big bomb. It's going to sit and hang for quite a while. It's going to be taken away. The number 62, Kamil Renzikaite.
I believe that's another one of their Lithuanian pickups, if I'm not mistaken. Gotten a few from the Drop That Smile team that were the European Ultimate Indoor Club Championships, as you mentioned earlier. Probably a bit of that Sarah Eklund, Barbara Kundalita Eurostar connection involved there.
Well, I believe, as I say, the spirit captain for Valkyria, which I believe is the number 27, Nadia Melnikova, is actually Lithuanian herself.
I see. So a lot of connections here.
Indeed. Well, it's nice. You Lithuania don't always have enough to have a team at these big outdoor tournaments, so it's lovely to see them connecting with other teams and being able to grace us with their presence. Lots of
might be upset that they're not converting. I think this point favors them.
Absolutely. Well, that's been the nature of the game for pretty much all of the matches for Valkyria. They have the smallest squad, I believe, in the women's division. Eklund, though, going deep. Gerner just puts enough on it, but it's caught! What a grab by Sarah Eklund to reel in the first point for Valkyria. And my Ravi, that took quite a while.
You have to wonder there. Gerner had position to get that D, but I think went up strong with just her left hand. If she had both hands on that, maybe would have got the D, but in this case, Sarah Eklund able to make an amazing play, and that's a hold. It's not a dirty hold, I would call that one. Not a clean hold.
I like that we've coined this phrase now, the dirty hold. And that one had mud all over it. Probably about as much mud as has just clung to the back of Sarah Eklund's shirt.
So Valkyria will throw their D-line out as their O-line stars will go and try to take a break. And this is something that I think the D-line that I saw against Shout were able to generate Ds, make points long, and they're going to have to do that here. If jinX can score a quick point, that'll really favor them. So if I was the Valkyria defense, I would guard the deep shots, try and force more passes. Even if you don't get the deep, make this point long. You got to give your O-line stars a bit of time to rest right now.
Absolutely. And it's also, I mean, even when you're thinking about the smart edge of making them having to throw more passes in terms of just giving your other line a bit more time off of the field, but it's also just playing that numbers game. Schulze immediately going deep, wearing her snazzy Yogo Bonito cap on the back way. And a strip's going to be called, I think, there.
Interesting call there. From my perspective, hard to say that she had control of that disc before the Valkyria player touched it.
Yeah, I think that's Ekborg there coming in with the block. Although, can't quite see the number. But a contested strip by the looks of things. Disc is going to go back.
Okay, so that is contested.
It is indeed. But a nice cut from Hugo, as she's known, Katharina Schulze. Just absolutely opening up the hips and burning towards the end zone. But nice, good central field position for Lisa Rieder. Looks at the reset, but chooses the upfield to Mundel. Schultz are coming in now. So dangerous on both sides of the disc. Lots of national team representation from the German women's squad that we saw in GER back in 2019 that didn't quite manage to live up to their reputation. Larsen getting a bit of a bump from Riedel. Mundel puts it out. There's going to be a pit call.
The pick was called, and the Valkyria player definitely stopped playing before that throw went up, so it will go back.
Yes, indeed. So drilling it back in, the Flora Scala player that had the pick called had a brilliant game cutting in their streamed one, but not had the best time. Big bid there. And on top of the back. Simona Liebert.
Great spirit there to call that a turn. Definitely contact was involved. It's hard to say who initiated it really, and agreeing that that was quote-unquote minor contact, as in not dangerous and not affecting the play.
It's a little mud sandwich. Beat coming in for the reset, but nice one across, and Mundel picks it off. A tasty little snack with just a few yards to go for the jinx hold. And Valkyria have done exactly what you wanted them to do, Ravi, but it can't be denied. Charlotte Mundel with the goal for jinx, and that's a nice hold.
Like I said, they didn't get the break. They got a turn, though, and they kept the point long. If that first huck had gone up uncontested and they had scored very quickly, that would really be to the favor of jinx. Now that point was long enough. Give your stars a bit of a chance to rest and give the jinx squad a bit to think about. A lot of contested shots there, a lot of defensive pressure. Again, this Valkyria D-line, from what I saw against Shout, very athletic, very, can cause even the likes of Shout to turn it over quite a lot, but has a lot of trouble on offense when they get the disc. And so I think if Valkyria are going to want to win this game, probably later at the end of this half, later at the end of the second half, some of those offensive stars are going to have to cross over. That's why if they want to win, their offensive points need to be short and their defensive points need to be long. That's going to be the key to victory for the Swedish squad, in my opinion.
I'm not going to disagree with any of the words you've just said. I completely agree. This is really Valkyria's whole story of the tournament is about how you manage this team. It's a small team, but a very, very capable team. And the very tippy top of both these squads' rosters are going to go toe-to-toe in this quarter-final matchup. Varnaite, low one to Eklund, but scooped off the ground. Big put, has Kundelita underneath it as well as, oh, what a read from the number 62, Resikaite. Pops it back. Varnaite, takes it around a little bit late, but just about enough. Sarah Eklund going to her knees, but that was a nice, quick O-point.
I wonder who that long disc was meant for. It looked to me like it was for Barbara Kundelita, but actually number 62 had a much better read on the disc. So yeah, quick O-point. Last point is a long D-point. Getting back into that rhythm. And we'll see if Valkyria can turn things, can try and generate a break. So far, both teams holding. That was a clean one. A couple holds have been dirty, but I think that might have been the first clean hold of the game. 2-2 the score,
yeah.
And go ahead.
We had a clean hold from jinx to get us started.
Got it.
So that's that's one apiece. One clean hold apiece, but everything else thus far has been mighty grindy.
One clean, one dirty, mixing it all up together. Just want to give a shout out to Tokai Ultimate. Saw their banner over on the other side of the field. They are helping to sponsor this coverage from ulti.TV. There are definitely some of those cleats out there on this field right now.
Bruges. But Valkyria now staring down the barrel of their first potential break of the game. Bird, high stall count, finds a release valve to Larsen. Punches it through. Not able to gain many yards at the moment. jinX really doing great work of containment. Far side now.
They've had a lot of throws to cutters, but they've been less than 2 meters. There we finally get a big gainer. Big in quotation marks.
Holmlund there with a fetching red headband. Had a great game in the latter stages of the KEUCF matchup. It's a big flick. Huck, Molly Robbins going to be the intended target. It's going to be overshot, and a great defensive effort from a team of jinX players under that one.
There's Nikki Priyan getting the last bit of it for jinX, and they'll get another chance to hold.
Yes, indeed, this one going to be dirty either way. Larson there on the mark. Easy to confuse with the number 8 Molly Robbins because they have a similar haircut but very different running styles. Scala looks around for options. Priyan coming in. Hot pressure from the defense, but just not enough to cause any issues. Stages of this game so far. Reader, this big backhand down that far side, squeezing it through. And Forsh, far side. Just a little pause. What do you think the call is, Ravi? Lack of hand signals.
Yeah, I could not see what happened there.
But either way, we're back in action. Scala. Not really much movement coming from the jinX stack. Gonna need to find a reset of some description. Pops it up the line. It's a little bit late though, and a big bit under it. Oh my goodness, Nikki Priyan reads it perfectly.
Hero maker of a play on O, hero maker of a play on D.
Oh, it's gonna be blocked and tipped away. Joanna Larson coming up with the blade.
Valkyria doing well here, putting lots of pressure on these jinX offensive players. Again, this D-line is athletic. They just have a little bit of trouble punching it in.
So, again, Bird getting us underway, trapped on this near sideline. Everybody coming under to try and help. Again, seeing Valkyria not being the most expansive. That's a nicer shot to Larson. Points at where she wants the player to go get it.
Thought the deep look was on, but looked off in this instance.
Trout. Nice sliding Saskia Bick. Coming across from the German national team. Big sitter on the far side of the field. Priyan gets under it, of course, and scoops it away from Oda Holmlund.
Yeah, Oda Holmlund, a player who's very, very good in that indoor championships last year. But I think it's very wise of jinX to put Nikki Priyan on her. Or perhaps that was the other way around. Maybe Oda Holmlund was going on Priyan since this is a Valkyria defensive point. But good stuff. That was good offense from the Valkyria D-line.
Absolutely. Just a little bit too much float on that one, and we see another timeout in the early stages of this game. Rita there giving her team the opportunity to think a little bit more intelligently about what they're doing out here.
And this does favor Valkyria here. Again, this is keeping the D-line points long, O-line points short. That's going to be the key to this game. You mentioned earlier in the point Saskia Bake, who caught a disc. She's now on the short roster for the German World Games team, as well as a number of players on this jinX squad. So I wonder if that, knowledge of jinX is helping Valkyria out. I'm sure she was giving every piece of info she could to the Valkyria coaches.
Yeah, as we said, there's a lot of high-level players on this, both these teams. Say lots of caps for the Eurostars tours in various years. So there's a lot of information. We sort of know what a lot of the players here like to do, but it's a case of, I think, the Valkyria team do some interesting things occasionally. They're not sort of able to, because they've not got that depth of roster, they're not able to do their one thing that they really, really like to do. They're kind of all having to pick up roles that maybe they're not the most accustomed to, but they're very capable of doing, of course, because their fundamental skills that these athletes have is fantastic.
This is the first time they brought their squad out to a grass tournament. This is a team that's played indoors for quite a long time in Stockholm. And as we said, as at the first European Ultimate Indoor Club Championships, not the first, but the first in decades, I think, that we had last year. And they decided with this opportunity, with this new extended EUCF, they would have a spot straight into Bruges. Decided to take on a bit more, help from Lithuania. And they found themselves in the quarterfinals. We were in some of the reporting on Ulti World. We had talked to them earlier in the tournament. They didn't come with any expectations. They had no idea how good the other teams would be. Came out and battered Fabulous 15-7, which I think was a shock to many people. though Fabulous then also ended up losing to Terrible Monkeys, getting knocked out before even crossover opportunity. So they're doing quite well so far, and I think this will be quite the test. They couldn't quite manage against Shout, but this is more a little bit in their reach. So far we've got a close game, 2-2, only holds so far, and jinX with a chance to get another dirty one in.
Indeed, when we'll have a look at the rest of these quarterfinal matchups in a moment, but Breen with the disc. Oh, and it's a huge flying bid from Valkyria. Molly Robbins making the huge effort, but able to come up with the goods.
Pick is called.
Seems to be quite close to the disc, so it's going to come back into the hands of Vera Forsch. As we said, quite a few international caps for this jinX team, and Forsch is one of them. Nice easy one to Preen far sideline. Enjoying that home long matchup that we already talked about. Oh, what a nice grab low from Scala. Good flow now for jinX. Can they continue it? Preen coming under, just muscling past the defender, putting a beautiful one out to Flora Scala, who makes the nice easy lefty grab.
We have another dirty hold for jinX. The score now 3-2. But again, great point for Valkyria's D-line. They forced the jinX O-line to be out there for a long time, gave their O-line a chance to rest, and that'll pay them dividends later on in this game. Still very little between these teams, Hannah.
So Valkyria are following your advice, Coach Ravi. It's like they can hear you. Although probably more like you're both, well, both you and their leadership are both intelligent humans who understand the nature of Ultimate and how to manage a smaller squad.
I hope I've learned a thing or two. Playing a bit and watching a few games.
How long have you been playing now, Rav?
I started playing in 2004, fall of 2004. So I can't do math right now, but since then.
Well, long enough, certainly. And how long have you been in the European Ultimate scene, actually, curiously?
I moved to Europe in 2009, and I was thinking, I wasn't sure I was going to keep playing or take another hobby on, but I fell back in love with the sport, and pretty much since then.
So 12 years in Europe and 17 overall. There we go. So Valkyria now with their O-line out on the field. It's an early error. Golden opportunity here for jinX to take a sneaky break. Picking up the disc will be Caroline Tisson. I don't know why I'm saying that in a slightly French accent, but there we go. Big around fake. Shoots it across the field, a visionary throw, and that is an easy goal. Frederica Wagner bringing it in, and that is a break for jinX.
Oh, it's a tragic point for Valkyria. They did well to mark and stop Tisson from her dangerous around break with Garner, but then someone in the stack didn't guard the open side there. And that's the space you absolutely need to guard when you're guarding an end zone player. You have to trust your mark a little bit. Guard that open side. You have to pressure on the break as well, but you have to stop that open side from being that free.
It's something that annoys the living heck out of me, Ravi, when people are like, oh, what do I need to worry about the break side? Trust your force. Person defense, you have one assignment each, more or less, but it only works if you do it as a team. And as you say, yeah, you've got to be mindful that it's a smaller space, so the break's much easier to throw. But yeah, just a bit of blown coverage there. But giving it away to jinX, and they put themselves in charge of this game. One break up, 4-2 the score. And
you see there on the replay, the Valkyria players all out of position there on the open side. So that was a first break of the game to jinX, and Valkyria O-line are back out there to see if they can recover from that little error.
Well, maybe a bit of tiredness creeping in as we're in day 3 of this European Championship Finals tournament. Eklund popping in the middle of a zony look, a cup from jinX, trying to perhaps capitalize on, again, we had a focus error at the last point. Can they snag themselves another one here?
Interesting defensive look here from jinX, a 4-person cup, it seemed at times.
Eklund opening things up, and a give and go, popping it over the line, and that is a goal. A nice quick hold for Valkyria after that bit of a fluff error on the one previous.
It's good to see you can keep your composure after a mistake and get that one nice and confidently. jinX tried to throw something to confuse them, but Valkyria worked through it beautifully. That leading pass to Eklund really opening things up. Score is now 4-3. jinX still up a break.
So a nice clean hold to respond. Just give themselves back that confidence. A nice rundown from Eklund. I love this little pop over the line there, Rav. That kind of pop it straight back and just tiptoe yourself over the line for the goal. So jinX staying in charge of this one. Perhaps slightly underrated, I think, in terms of coming into this tournament.
I rated them pretty highly, I think.
Well, no, but chatting to other individuals covering the women's division.
Ah.
Perhaps they didn't know, Rav.
Maybe they didn't know. I don't know. I saw so many World Games short-rostered players on this squad. And actually, I think they've underperformed my expectations so far. But managed to get themselves in quarterfinals nonetheless.
Riedel lacking for options. Preen available. Bit of a deep stack here for jinX. Giving themselves plenty of room under. Nice pressure from Beek there. Trying to get up in the mixer with Katiste. Find it funny, the front of the stack for the jinX team puts their arms in the air. Almost feels like it should be signaling some kind of call. Slightly confusing my brain.
It's almost like the incorrect call people use to call a brick.
Yes, indeed, Ravi. Know your hand signals, folks. So just to inform the viewers that might play Ultimate here, Rav, what is the correct signal for a brick?
Well, most people that get it wrong clap their hands over their head. You're actually supposed to just raise one arm over your head to call a brick. You're not supposed to clap two. But everyone claps two. I think maybe that was the rule before I started playing, but it's been one hand over the head for quite a long time.
Yeah, when I first started playing Ultimate, it was a clap. But the single arm to signal is indeed the nature of that call.
It's not like people don't know what you're doing with the clap over the head.
Oh, absolutely. it still works. It still has its effective communication. It's like the word has changed, but you can still use the old one just in case. Preen opening up a beautiful around, has Schulze available, but a great mark to make that up as we see Schulze far side. Hugo opens up a racy flick, and it's just going to topple into the turf, but of course Homlung under that for days. So disc coming back in where Schulze threw it. Probably not the throw she had intended to make. Bit of a bladey indoorsy one. But Valkyria with the chance to get the hold back. Oh, big flying bid. jinX trying everything in the toolkit to try and stop this Valkyria offense. Oh, nearly does it. Great composure. Valkyria playing small ball just to keep the stall resetting. Hormlung available on the around. Very available, very poached off, but Prien's in the way and just about manages to cause enough pressure on the handler set, causing Valkyria loads of worries. It's a big disc from Riedel. Pressure on it, but Nikki Prien goes to work easily and pops one straight into the bank, and that is the hold for jinX, but another long O point.
That was just complete confidence in Prien. She had zero separation of throwing up, but a height mismatch, and the thrower saw that, put it up anyways. Trust your receiver. Just want to take a look at how things are going. We're in bracket play here in all divisions. So looking at the open division, we just had our quarterfinals on the stream here. We saw Ranelagh beat Bad Skid on Universe with a point with 7 turnovers to finish that game. So they will move on and face Kuzlafota in the semi. On the other side of the bracket, Gentle Open beat Fui on Universe as well. So the Belgian boys will be facing Clapham, who beat Wall City 15-11. So we've got Clapham versus Gentle and Lafota versus Ranelagh. Later in the stream, I'll update you on the mixed division as well.
I have to say, it's at this stage in the tournament you kind of wish you could stream every single game. I bet that Clapham Wall City game was probably pretty good. Although, scenes from around the tournament, Ravi, the Red Bulls game against Clapham, apparently they gave them an 8 for Spirit. So we'll have to look into that and see exactly why that happened. So Valkyria here focusing back on this women's quarter-final matchup against the zone from jinX. Different look now, not quite so much of a 4-person cup as a 3-person. And Anna Gerner, after a call is made, getting big for a block.
Trying to understand what the call, I believe. There was some call, and Sarah Eklund claiming that maybe she stopped playing, and that's why Gurn was able to get that block. Discussions on the field. Still trying to sort this out. I still don't know what the call was because we have no hand signals for that. But the disc will go back to Valkyria to play against this jinx zone.
So a travel call, as the hand signal indicates. Well, what do you reckon the stall count's going to be coming in on? Probably fairly high.
Could be. It depends on what the call was.
I think a travel.
Travel
Like some hand signals for travel.
But that's interesting because that doesn't stop play, so I don't understand how the disc would go back in the hands.
I think that maybe potentially if there's a violation, if there's, you know, to get the discussion going. Well, who knows? Either way, back in action. Sarah Eklund pops it back. Has a little look over the shoulder as she runs away, but melts to match for jinX and leaves a big shot available. Eklund over the top of Gurner. She can do nothing but wave her fingertips through the air uselessly as we see another goal for Valkyria, and that was a relatively quick offensive point.
Aside from the discussion, I would call it a quick point. And that discussion is a resting period, so Valkyria O-line doing well. Just made one small error this game, causing one break. Still jinX in the driver's seat, 5-4. So looking at the mixed division, Ketchup Graz beat Monkey 15-14, so they'll be advancing to the quarterfinal against Grutz. I believe that game will be streamed. Seskidistis beating Colorado 15-10. Seskidistis versus Putti will be another quarterfinal, I believe streamed in the next round as well. Orebro beat Pelt 15-10. When I left that game, Pelt was up 5-3, so I'm not sure what happened in the rest of that game, but the Swedes getting the better of them there. Maybe coming over here to cheer their Swedish compatriots at some point later on this round. They'll be facing Flo Wrocław in their quarterfinal. Guayota beating Mainzelrunner 15-10 in the pre-quarter. They will go and face Salisbury. So again, quarterfinals, Grut versus Ketchup, Putti versus Seskidistis, Kfum Orebro versus Flo, and Guayota versus Salisbury.
Well, a tasty matchup, and in the next stoppage we'll bring you some live scores perhaps from Ultimate Central to see what's happening on the fields in the other women's quarters here at the xEUCF 2021 in Bruges. jinX's O-line going to work. Valkyria, as we've said, trying to do everything they can to extend these points as we see a nice attempt at a foot block from Robbins. Pick called, unsurprisingly, Charlotte Mundel there with quite significant separation away from Saskia Big, which I'm going to say probably isn't going to happen very often. Big's pretty athletic and pretty smart.
That she is.
Nice inside from Forsch. Riedel has a read of the cuts developing upfield, finds Mundel. Thinks about the inside, going to need a reset option. Line cut taken away very nicely by Larson. It's going to have to be a chuck it and hope, but it is good for jinX. That's a bit of a dirty score, but effective.
But a clean hold. Dirty score. She had to really power through a pack of players to get to that disc. I'm not sure if she was the intended receiver or not. She got to throw into a pack.
That was just a chuck it and hope kind of situation. And the stall count's getting high. You can try and throw a risky reset, which probably gives Valkyria the opportunity to have an isolated player because, you know, you've got those two players separated from the rest of the stack. If they get one of them picks it up and they just throw and go, like, it's smart choice to just pop it into the end zone and see what on earth might happen. So
score here 6-4, jinX up a break. This is actually the most, the biggest difference of score we have so far in the quarterfinals. So 3SB and Shout 5-5. Free Speed Ladies versus Dublin Gravity. Gravity up 6-5 there. And Love Yaka, which is the other streamed game right now, is 6-6 at the moment. So lots of tight games here in the quarterfinal rounds of women's division. Absolutely.
Hopefully, we saw with Love, Lisa Celis, having a huge defensive block on the live stream with a, hopefully her hand is okay because she's quite a key part of that Love offense and defense. So if you want to get your eyeballs on that one as well as this one, obviously you're going to have that game on mute and have myself and Ravi live with you, but you are bringing wall-to-wall action as we see Sarah Eklund going low, sort of like a action roll out here on the fields. Kundalita looking around, completely poached off is Nadia Melnikova. Oh, and it's a nice leading space pass. Eklund having a look, doesn't like her options. secures the reset. This is good work from Valkyria. Not able to make big plays, but just gnawing off those little bites. And that is a nice expansive play. Kundalita for the goal for Valkyria, and that keeps them rolling on, trading in the late stages of this first half.
Score 6-5 for Valkyria. I think the scoreboard's a little off there, saying it's 5-5. That scoreline never happened. It is now 6-5. jinx up a break. If I was Valkyria, I'd maybe consider putting on a bit of a power line here. You have a timeout, and then after this line, if you don't get the break, call a timeout and bring your own line back out there. And as I say that, I see Sarah Eklund getting ready to pull. So I guess brilliant minds think alike.
You and Valkyria, Ravi, you are one. Maybe they've got little Secret Service earpieces. I've been really enjoying seeing some of the tournament directors here in Bruges, who, massive shout out to all of them. It's a great organising committee. They're wonderful humans, so smiley, so polite, so just nice to be around. But a couple of them have got these little Secret Service earpieces, especially Boris van der Look, who has this, it's definitely a look. I like it, but maybe Valkyria have nicked some of those and they've got them secretly deposited in their ears, Ravi, and they're just listening to the pearls of wisdom you have for them. Tom's Tourney
been running for, I think, about 25 years now, so they've been able to raise enough money to get some cool tech to keep their organization running smooth.
Unfortunately cancelled in the last iteration due to the pandemic, as we see that connection cancelled, just falling in front of the feet of Priya. No bid coming.
Second time Priyan's been overthrown.
You did, yeah. It's quite difficult, but they've done it twice now. So maybe she's not been to that many trainings. Maybe they just don't know exactly what she's capable of. Always a tricky one when you've got someone fast to put the right disc in front of them, as we see Holmlund going in for a little bit of help reset. Eklund powering under. Oh, huge bid, but gets a clatter as the two Valkyria players quite close to each other. Just getting a bit of piece, I think, of Schulze there.
Don't like what I'm seeing out of Valkyria so far here. We've got Barbara Kundalit and Sarah Eklund on this line, and they haven't touched the disc yet. The whole point of them getting onto this line is that when they get the turn, put them into your offensive stars. But so far, the jinx O-line defense, able to contain them a bit.
Absolutely. I do like the matchup of Eklund and Vogel, though. That is they're pretty much of a height, and certainly both very athletic, as we say. Vogel, a German national player. And the matchup for Kundalita is the number 32, Katy Stewart. So capable matchups for sure, but hopefully Valkyria can clean this up and avoid any more collisions. Holmlund with a nice big mud splash all over her shirt. Same as for Robbins, who she looks off and chooses for the around. Oh, that's a laser of an inside flick to Robbins. Reeled in nicely, finds Larson on the far side. Kundalita going to this near side, right in the deep space, but it's going to have to be a shorter ball. Eklund coming in, has Kundalita. Oh no, I take that back. I thought it was the cut to Kundalita developing, but it wasn't. It was the number 27, Nadia Melnikova. Nice work from this Valkyria handler set for the D-line, grinding it. Is the power line going to have worked out? Eklund with the disc has Robbins coming in, the little clap and look of sadness as she didn't get chosen. But it's going to be Keepy Disky. Oh, it's going to be hope and prayers for Eklund, but neither her nor Holmlund can reel that rather adventurous disc in.
There's another miscommunication. You could see Eklund was changing direction right at the moment that throw went up. She was open in that space, but that wasn't the cut she was developing. The second time we've seen a score like that here in this game, and could make the difference here. I liked that a lot. They got their, Eklund involved, but jinx will get another chance.
So bringing us back into play, the striding form of Vera Forsch. And a bit of a messy stack there, players sort of muscling past each other, and it's a block for Barbora Kundalita, and a short field opportunity here for Valkyria's D-line to get that break back. Vadnaita picking it up. Oh, a little stumble there on this slippery field. It's a push pass for a goal. No, it's not. Molly Robbins can't quite reel that one in. Not enough spin on that.
There's just no spin on that. It was just lobbed it up there.
It's like, here, have it. I don't want it anymore. Well, you go.
The thing is that the jinX defense was really well blocking both sides of the stack and switching very, very effectively. And then on the dump pass, the Valkyria handler,
The win, snapping that one up and giving a gift. Sarah Eklund, no errors in miscommunications that time. Oh my goodness, how unlucky for jinX. And we're back on serve.
So perhaps Valkyria were getting offended that I said this was the most unequal quarterfinal, now bringing it back to level at 6 apiece. I was just going to commend that jinX defense. They had players on both sides of the stack there, so that once one player cut to the open side, they adapted really well and shut down every option, then looked for that dump option, and just the slippery ground, the dump just fell over. Nothing left for that until that push pass over to Molly Robbins. jinX making another mistake after that, and here we're going to see the nice pop into Sarah Eklund. Power line working out for Valkyria, and but Sarah Eklund is staying out on the field. They're not done yet with their stars.
Well, as we've said many times in this game, they have quite a small roster, so you can afford to abuse and use your stars, keep them out there, because the subs you have on the line aren't necessarily quite as, well rested as you would if you had a team of, say, 28 players.
And I do believe Valkyria still have a timeout this half, so if they need to bring their O-line back out there, they can rest for a breath to make sure Sarah's back out. Sarah and Kundalita are back out there on that point as well. Nice pull, but I believe it'll be bricked.
And the correct hand signal.
The proper hand signal.
We love to see it. Bringing us back in is Lisa Riedel. Sorry, Reader, not Riedel. And liking the dainty pointing at the brick mark, which at this point is probably absolutely ground to dust here. We did have some really nice decals on the pitch. Oh, and I tell you what, that is a very nice defensive play for Valkyria. Are they going to be able to make their second break of this game? Gone a little bit of a trot. Van Nijter with the disc around to Eklund, powers it through into the center to her sister. Nice connection now between those two, working well. Kundalita far side loses it, and it's going to hit the floor. Bit too much sauce on that one, Ravi.
Yeah, you could see the form on that throw, a little bit off on the way she threw that flick, just too lasered, too down, and ended up hitting the turf. So jinX will get it back. Great D there by Ekborg, though. She really ran through and powered through, got the tip, and then boxed out her player, make sure that she could secure the disc for Valkyria.
Yeah, absolutely. I think probably the offense could have tried a little bit harder to muscle past, but oh my goodness, that was just something.
That's just Nikki Priyan, is all that was.
Yep, she really is that good. They managed to connect with her this time rather than the overthrow. Good work now from jinX, storming down the field. A big fall in the center. You can really see how slippery these pitches are becoming. Vera Forsch is going to run that one down. What a sitter. The win giving some help on that one. A nice goal to Priyan. And that is a hold. 7-6 now.
I love that cut from Priyan. She streaked to the corner, and as the defender, you have to respect that because it's the open side. But because Forsch had kind of no mark on her, Priyan was just able to stop that cut, just make a move inside, and it was a very easy score. Great movement from Priyan there. 7-6. jinX stopped the bleeding after that break.
And what do we see, Ravi? We see a timeout called, facilitating the ability for Valkyria to put on another power line to hopefully get us to a cheeky old Galaxy point.
Oh, we love the Galaxy points here on ulti.TV.
And talking about the play from jinX, the wind that took the disc away from them a few points earlier with that little pop, that slight error, a little bit of a loosey-goosey disc, but we felt the gust move through the commentary tent and pop that one up out of reach. But
that's rude.
The wind just sitting underneath that 1 foot. Vera Forsch to just snaffle up nicely and gain loads of yards and momentum before the score. So it's neck and neck. We're on serve here. jinX did start us off with a clean hold, but it's been about as well, the play's been a little bit dirty, but not as dirty as the players' boots and shirts are becoming with the state of these fields out here in Bruges. Yesterday, the conditions were mighty unpleasant to be out in. But let's see the action from some of the other quarters.
So there are two Galaxy, well, this one's not to Galaxy yet, but the other streamed game is at Galaxy Point. Love Yaka 7-7. The Belgians playing really well. I think most people favoring Yaka in that matchup, but so far dead even. Dublin Gravity up 7-6 on the Free Speed ladies, and Kuzchout pulling away from 3SB a little bit, up 8-5.
Well, those last two games probably as we expect, but yeah, Love coming up strong on the live stream. Get yourselves over to that pitch. Well, not physically, but obviously you can watch both streams. ulti.TV bringing you live coverage, wall-to-wall action here from this championship all day today and finals day tomorrow. Make sure you double device, do whatever you can to get your eyeballs on these games, and they'll be available for you free to watch back on YouTube.
And if you appreciate that, consider becoming up there with the zone was trying to force a risky biscuit. I was just saying, in our tent here, we don't feel any wind, but I'm looking at the flags on the other side of the field. They're flapping a little bit, so I'm not sure exactly how this field's looking. Maybe more wind on that end of it. Players clatter to the ground on that long huck.
Yeah, big old Bosch on that far sideline, just behind the butt, from my personal view, of our lovely production and cameraman Felix Shardlow, but a big old slide there. Hopefully both players can be okay and carry on for this game. I think that's Eklund there. Get another look.
I think there's a discussion about whether this was a foul or not. I believe that the pass was too far in either case, so it's a contact that definitely didn't affect the outcome of the play. However, if it's dangerous in nature, which there can be an argument made, that supersedes any foul rules, so probably that's what's going on between the Valkyria and jinX players right now.
And of course, Ultimate is indeed a non-contact sport. All players are have to abide by the rules of trying to avoid bodily contact between each other. Obviously, it does happen. You know, you have to go in for things. You have to try and make the defensive block or the offensive reception happen. And of course, the player in the well, we're always playing to the lower level of acceptance of contact. So there are some teams that like to be a bit more touchy, but obviously, you're permitted to call a foul if there is a level of body contact that impacts.
Discussion still going on here.
Yep, allowing all the players on the field to get a little bit chilly. Say, it's not the most breezy. I think we've got, in terms of the wind conditions, it's like a diagonal crosswind from left to right on the field and near to far side. But it's gusting, it's a little bit, like I say, it's causing just that extra element of surprise on some of the discs here that are sitting and hanging, as we've seen gift Valkyria and then gift jinX. But it just looks like it's going to come back here and stay in the hands of jinX.
So contested foul. Looking elsewhere, it seems that Yaka has won the Galaxy 8-7 in favor of the French in the other quarterfinal.
Nice, a round backhand. Nice and low. Great work from the mark. They were sagging off the hand. The easy dump available, but it's going to be an, nearly an error. Caroline Tisson, though, with the focus. This is all about these break side throws for Gerner right now. Can Valkyria adjust? Tisson. Nice work through. Surveying the field. And it's getting closer and closer, chomping up yards. And Gerner with the layout goal finally puts a little signature on the end of that offensive. Oh, wow, it's a piece of offense, but that's a break for...
It's a break for half.
Yeah, break for half. There you go.
So with that, jinX will take their break back that they just lost on the Valkyria power line. They will have a little bit of a buffer going into the next half. Valkyria will receive to start. And yeah, 2 breaks to 1 in this women's quarterfinal match.
Yeah, that stoppage there completely putting me off as to where we are in the stage of this game. But Valkyria hanging tough, probably starting to feel it in their legs.
I'm not sure the teams realize that it's halftime. I see
Nope,
a line going out there.
That's bizarre. Although we're just having a chat to Odo Holmberg. Apparently the scorekeepers have said that the half was at 7, so that wasn't actually a timeout we saw taken. That was a bit of an early half time. But obviously we are an hour into this game, a low-scoring one because these two teams are battling, going toe-to-toe here on the field in front of us. So another zony look from jinX, trying to slow down and smother the Valkyrian offense. We see nice moves now through the side, penetration through. Sarah Eklund puts a high floaty one, Barbora Kundalita under it, so she doesn't have to worry too much. Such a capable receiver downfield. Varnaita thinks about the around backhand, which was so effective for jinX, but chooses to go the other side. Nice movement swinging across, but it's going to have to go over the top and picked off by the number 28, Frederica Wagner. And jinX here with an opportunity to really put their flag in this game. Wagner after no, that's not Wagner, that's Chichevich. Nice. There we go. That's Wagner there. Frederica, centre of the field as she likes to be. Gerner, far side with that wrist brace. Looking at her offhand, backhand. Look how smooth that is. You can tell she's practiced that a lot. Seeing a bit more of the depth of jinX's roster here. Wagner pops through, gets it immediately straight back. So sort of every third pass, the number 28 for jinX. Tisson doing a little jinky movement in front, and Gerner's going to be asked to do a lot, but she rips it out from in front of the face of Sarah Eklund, and that is a break to start off this half. jinX now taking...
Not actually great to start off this half.
Well,
I was talking to the Valkyria player. Apparently, half happened at 7. So that timeout that we thought was my brilliant communication, they actually weren't quite in sync with me. That was actually halftime. We do have halftime. There's a time limit for half as well. There might have been some miscommunication with the scorekeepers, but half was at 7, so that's actually jinX's second break of the second half. To be accurate.
In my mind, it's the first half. I didn't have that update, but yeah, we figured it was something a bit strange and funky, but hey ho, it happens. It happens on these live streams that sometimes funky things happen.
Score is now 9-6 in jinX's favor. Their second half here maybe showing a bit more of their depth, showing their D-line offense has gotten a lot cleaner and a lot better. We see Gerner and Tisson and the rest of their depth working really well. So definitely have the advantage here, the ladies in black from Berlin. And the timeout was called, I'm guessing, by Valkyria after getting broken twice.
I'd say that's probably a fair assumption. If you're jinX at the moment, you just want to keep rolling through. Nice to see some more of their depth coming onto the field as well. We hadn't seen the likes of Lisa Chichevitz and co. So good to see them now coming on board, and also
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, Ultimate TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and fund our work
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
welcome back here to this women's quarter-final match here at the Extended European Ultimate Championship Finals in Bruges, Belgium. I'm Hannah Pendlebury, joined this fine morning by the lovely Ravi Vasudevan as we see jinX going toe-to-toe with Valkyria and up 3 points on the trot. The score now 9-6.
So a lot to ask from Valkyria. First, they're going to have a solid hold, then a lot of breaks. jinX throwing out this zone, which has given Valkyria problems in the second half so far.
It certainly has, even though they are indoor players coming out to the outdoors, not able to really use and abuse the overhead space quite as capably as they did at the indoor championships back in Herning in Denmark. Nice movements, far sideline. You've seen both the Eklunds on this pitch. for the Swedish team. Oh, nearly a swipe blocked there, taking the disc away, but Caldwell keeps calm. Moving it nice around the back. Varnaita. And a melt as you hear the jinX sideline yelling away. Caldwell to Kundalita. Lose the reset.
Format have changed in the women's division. We're now playing quarterfinals and semis today, and we'll have the final tomorrow. All here for you on ulti.TV on YouTube for free.
That's what we want. Free coverage. If you want to support us here and keep the stream free, try and prevent things from going behind a paywall. The model only works if you become a part of it. Sign up as a patron on patreon.com. Find the ulti.TV page, and you can find all the information in the descriptions on the page, in the links to the games, and of course on ulti.tv.
So we do see Sarah Eklund and Barbara Kundalits coming out on this line with her sister Sophia, so a lot of O-line force. This is a power line. Valkyria really want to get this break.
Well, as I say, this is for that top 4 position. The loser will not be able to claim glory here at the European Championship Finals. What a saucy inside break that was. Far side. Sagi, nice back to Rita. Work to Scarlett. Has no one really there. Priyan trying to get away from Olga Holmlund. Ola Holmlund, the matchup against Priyan, kept a little bit sleeping. Oh, that's going to be punched in, but punched away by Sarah Eklund.
Nice, clean run-through block using her athleticism again. She is so fast on the field. Players look open, but they're really not when Sarah Eklund's around.
Have to find out what her regime is to keep herself in such good shape to continuously make these blocks. And the closing speed on that hut was perfect. Just idyllically reached up the arm and stretched it. Holmlund there going up, nearly just working between the two of them. Eventually finds the stretch around. Just currently being holstered on that far sideline by this person defense. It's going to be a huge bomb across to Sarah Eklund, just at the back of the end zone. She's just a get out of jail free card. I said it last game we watched on the stream, but it's still true.
Saw the sideline there screaming at that player. Never looked off the line for their dump reset. They weren't going to play systematic. They were going to play Sarah Eklund-matic instead. And she's just turning it on. That sometimes, you know, it's a team sport. Sometimes you're starting to make big plays to win big games. And Sarah Eklund starting it here. Still down, still a little bit of mountain to climb. 9-8, jinX still in the lead. But Sarah Eklund showing that she's still in this game and trying to get to that top 4 spots so she can contend for a medal here in Europe.
Absolutely, Rav. Do you think we've started to see any tightening from the jinX squad? We saw a couple of the fresher legs in the last couple of points as we did see them establish that lead here in this game. But as much as Valkyria can tighten things and play smaller roster towards the end of this, you can say the same thing is true for jinX.
Yeah, they could do that. They have a deeper roster. When we talked about you seeing the fresher legs, it seems typical to me. They were doing that after they got a break. So kind of putting their second string D-line out there. That's usually a role that a lot of teams put when you have a bigger roster. I'm interested to see if they'll, move Gerner ever onto O-lines if things get tight. We'll have to see how this game develops. 9-8 the score right now. jinX looking to extend their lead to 2.
So Schulze with the disc and the backwards Yogo Bonito cap. One of the most stylish Fun Club teams. Working really hard, but Rita just about gets it on the second.
There's some call downfield.
Definitely didn't impact that. That was just absolute in the meat grinder effort from Lisa Ryder. Rida, sorry.
So we see here more the typical D-line from Valkyria, not as many players crossing over.
Yeah, Bensnikaita there on the mark, the number 62. We've still got some of the top players. Oda Holmlund marking up against Vera Forsch. Love that matchup, especially the matching headbands.
I think that's why they chose the matchup.
Reader sneaking past, probably, although it's also because they're both excellent. And look at that to Katarina Schulze on the goal line now, just waiting for a reset. And Forsh is going to try something exciting. Oh, it's a dish over the top, but scooped down. Not by the tallest player in that pack. Great read. I think that's the number 23 there, Renata Van Eyten.
Yeah, both teams having a bit trouble with their reset games when they're in the red zone. Valkyria here with a chance to equalize. They're going to have to do it without Sarah Eklund this time, though, as jinX doing a great job of shutting down the options. Molly Robbins cleans things up for Valkyria.
Nice space in front of the disc. Rather a flat upline cut there, but in comes Hormlong. Good pop. Hormlong and Van Eyten. Oh, beautiful upline cut. That's really great stuff. Scoops it down between the two pressure defenders. Unga Frank, the number 20, who did actually was the person that got the block for Valkyria here. Robbins coming under. Has the inside channel available if they can put a cut together. Just going to have to put a bit of trust and faith on the back of Ida Omentraut. And it is a goal for Valkyria. We are back on serve, 3 breaks apiece.
Nice strong break there from Valkyria. I was a little disappointed there when that high pass got caught. Hugo Schultz tried to poach in, and I think the person who caught it didn't realize that there was a completely free offensive player in the end zone, just looked to reset it. But Valkyria holding steady, working their resets well, and then finding that space. This time the connections finding each other there. And yeah, we're back to level 9-9. And did that without Sarah Eklund, so gave her a chance to rest. She's back out there again trying to take the lead.
And you can really see on this Valkyria line just how much these players are getting down in the dirt here on the fields in Bruges. Especially loving the look of Molly Robbins on the far left. An American coming across to live in Sweden, has excellent Instagram game, recently posted a video of a bunch of geese asking for suggestions of what soundtrack she should put to it, and the results were frankly delightful. But also, big shout out to the number 14, Oda Holmlund, who I probably still massacring her name, but she's really come up in this tournament and showing that she has some chops on grass as well as indoors. So jinX now, oh my goodness gracious me, what a play from Molly Robbins. Oh, that was sensational. And a short field for Valkyria. They're going to put it to Holmlund. Oh my goodness gracious. But there's going to be a call that's going to perhaps bring that one back. But
just a bit too free there.
Yeah, suspiciously open.
Suspiciously open, I love that call.
So Unga Frank there, the number 20 for Valkyria, will have to do a second shot at this one. A little bit hesitant from the reset. Big pressure from jinX. They know that this one's going to really put the pressure on their shoulders. Lots of fakes. Holmlund coming out. They need to be a bit more expansive. Go for the, oh, Priyan trying to go for the foot block. It is a visionary put, 2 bodies under it. It's Larson and Robbins, but Robbins for the goal for Valkyria, and they put themselves in front for the first time this game.
First time this game, Molly Robbins putting the team on her back. Amazing play, getting the bookends, the layout D, the big expansive score. And all of a sudden, things have shifted towards the Swedes.
They certainly have. Oh, Ravi, that was brilliant. That block from Robbins to get the turnover, just sensational. A little bit of a rules change is actually going to prevent Robbins, I think, for some time from appearing on the Swedish national women's roster, because she was, I think, in 2019 in GER, she was playing under the community member rules. So it's a sad one to potentially not see her play for the Swedish national women's team again.
I think the next cycle she would have been here for 20 months. So since the next cycle is 20 months from that GER final, so I think she will be in the next echelon of eligibility. So I think by the next time there's a national team side for Sweden, she'll have made it to the next level.
Oh, so the pause for the pandemic has been in Robbins' favor.
Yeah, maybe it would have been the case for the World Ultimate Guts Championship since that was canceled, and Sweden's not going to the World Games. By the next time they have any opportunity, Molly Robbins should be eligible.
Oh, and I'm sure the Swedish women's team are going to be delighted about that fact, looking at another slow-mo replay of the score. To say Larsson and Robbins, easy to confuse, but very different people.
Looking elsewhere in the tournament, 3SB coming back on Kuzschout. The score now 10-8. Dublin Gravity still really close to 3-speed women, 9-8. The Irish have just a little bit of a buffer there. Yaka walking away a little bit, 12-9 against Love, so second half going a bit more the French way. And here we have 10-9, Valkyria taking their first lead of the game against jinX.
Oh my goodness, it is so exciting in this women's quarter-final round here at the European Championship Finals in Bruges, Belgium. I have to say, early on in the tournament, we streamed a game, and one of my co-commentators, who will remain anonymous, said that they thought that the women's division had a really strong top end, but maybe it was only a small cluster of teams that were going to be successful here and really show us, you know, that really top level. But this quarter-final session, with the exception of, as we say, the Love-Yaka game, which has opened up a window between the two sides, it's pretty hotly contested here, Ravi. And of course, Yaka featuring a very, very deep squad versus the Belgians, who've had to run a little bit harder here. But Plian, nice, easy one. Wegener, and she's going to put a saucy flick, but it's going to be tipped away. Another defensive block for the number 20 from Valkyria, Lina Ungert-Frank.
jinX a little out of sorts here on offense. That can happen when you're 3 breaks down. You start to get in your own heads. And now Valkyria with a chance to extend their lead to 2.
Yeah, Ungert-Frank really coming through in this second half. Didn't see much of her. She was quite quiet in the beginnings of the game, but now large and in charge, getting blocks and throwing puts.
Pick called downfield. Omlong's fast, but generating that much separation on Priyan, I'm not exactly sure. Suspiciously free again.
Absolutely. I think you'd probably have to like push her over and run as fast as you could to get separation like that, unless there's a pick. Certainly I'd have to push her over. Maybe like, you know, kick her right in the ankle and then run my full pelt, and she'd probably still catch me up.
Great to see her back on the field competing. She was out for a couple years. Yeah, great to see her back out here with jinX again.
Yeah, the threat of retirement, but then the love is too strong. It calls you back. So it's a big sitting put, Holmlund underneath it versus Priyan, but rising up in the center of the pack is the number 14, Simona Liebert. Getting it back for jinX. There's a pick call that might reel the play back a little bit. I think Robin's taken a bit of a shot to the face from the back of one of the opposition players. No, I take that back. That's Joanna Larsson. I did speak to Larsson. She kind of kindly helped me out with some of the name pronunciations for Valkyria. So much thanks to you, Joanna. Appreciate it. But she did say that her and Robin sometimes get confused again because they're similar hairstyle, but they have very different running styles. So if you want to have a look at that and tell us what you think of the difference, are they that different? Get into the comments. We want to hear from you. Lots of German love.
We have a question here on when do the games end. I believe these are 90-minute rounds. So looking at that, about 10 minutes from now, we will have the cap, and then it'll be a cap +1 at that point. Yeah,
quite a short time space between these games, just 10 minutes to finish off your matchups. And at this point of the tournament, when it's going toe-to-toe, some of those are extending a little bit longer, but extending arms from Priyan, center of the field, as jinX patiently work it in. Is this going to be a play for Robbins? Just gets a little bit of ankle-to-ankle contact. Hopefully doesn't take Forsch out for too long.
Unfortunate there for Robbins. I do think this should be an uncontested foul. She did clip Forsch on the legs, but I think she could have avoided that, but had her eyes on the disc.
Yeah, you can just see though, she goes to take off that little back calf. The leg clips round. A bit too much splay.
So Forsch will get the disc. Robbins kindly telling Forsch to fix her shoelaces before we get back into play. Great spirit here from the two teams.
Thinks about the inside, chooses the around. Conservative stuff. Oh, A little bit of a cuddle there. You can see the height mismatch between Lisa Arida and I can't quite see the number on the back of the shirt for Valkyria, but just really trying to avoid the contact, but just
that's
balanced.
It's a bit of defensive fatigue. Sometimes you think fatigue is just making you run slowly. Part of fatigue, when it sets in, it's harder to stop when you're tired also.
Yeah, the Ekborg there, who's actually, talk about playing tireless defense. She's been all over the pitch for Valkyria, and a stumble gives jinX the wide open goal, and they level it up. But Valkyria just nose in front as we reach the latter stages of this game.
So 10-10 the score now. It's all level. Valkyria with the advantage. If they trade out, they'll take the win. jinX going to have to get a break if they want to see themselves in the semifinals. Winner of this game will play against the winner of Shout 3SB.
You're going to make a call on how you think that game's going to go, Ravi?
The Shout 3SB game or the semifinal game?
The Shout 3SB.
Well, let me take a look at the score, see if it's been updated before, get as much data as I can before making the prediction.
It's always good to get reliable data before you make any important decision.
It's 11-9 now. Kuzma in the driver's seat. I do think they're my advantage to take that team, but it seems like 3SB had a bit of a comeback. They were down 3 before. Now they're only down 2, so got at least one break.
It's an interesting one because I think Cusp have lost a couple of players that were intending on coming. Obviously losing Laura Farolfi. Aurora Leshnik was due to come, but actually Leshnik isn't here. She unfortunately took a shoulder injury ahead of the tournament, so they're expecting the likes of them to be appearing on the roster. It's a deep squad nonetheless, but
I heard they were planning to come with 28, but came with 22.
Yeah, talk about mishaps if you're losing 6 of your squad, but a travel call is going to pull us back. Couple of passes here, so not a stoppage normally, but obviously the play has to come back to when the infraction occurred.
Disc will go back. I'm not sure they're going to contest that or not, but maybe they're talking about that new give-go travel rule. In any case, Valkyria back, going against this jinX zone defense.
Yes, indeed, trying to throw a different look on this Valkyrian side. It has worked before in confusing the offense and generating turnovers. Eklund. Nice pop over. Valkyria's forehand, the set working nicely. Milnikova fakes the overhead. Eklund to Eklund. Popping back. And Stakaita. Oh, it's a little bit low and just gets the hand in the mixer.
I think that was a bit during the melt there with the transition defense. Always love that when your zone transitions, the offense gets a little chaotic and sometimes you can sneak a D.
Oh, it's an immediate put to Anna Gernert, who lays out full stretch, although you can see the braced elbow hits the ground first. That's going to hurt and be sore tomorrow for sure. But right now, it's all the adrenaline to try and prevent the Valkyrian offense, and that is a great piece of defense. But Barbora Kundalita couldn't quite take it down under the pressure of Caroline Tisson.
She really tried to attack it, but Tisson had great position. So now jinX, again, with a chance to retake the lead.
Oof, hot defense from Valkyria, trying to generate blocks and give themselves a short field to work with for that much needed hold here. jinX looking to go in front. Clean
A little bit
bid.
of contact, but no foul.
Nice work from the number 23, Renata Varnaite. Milnikova coming in, throwing a saucy inside break, and that is a goal for Valkyria. A hold, took them a little while, but they got there in the end.
Not sure who the intended receiver was there. I think it looked like it was for Kundalita, but sometimes you just float into that break space. Anybody can get there because all their defenders are on the other side. Valkyria hold on to the lead, a little bit of a scare. But jinX's D-line not able to punch through the conversion with 2 attempts. So 11-10, Valkyria's up.
You can see that the face of Anna Gerner not too happy. Captain of this jinX side, the German club team, getting, well, I don't think there's really anyone outplaying either team at the moment. It's just a bit of a bar brawl right now. Both sides, plenty of contact on the field, but thankfully no injuries. Everyone managing to stay away from each other enough.
Right now, like you said, jinX, the deeper team, still playing their regular lines. At some point, the game's going to get to the point where I think your stars need to get out there a little more often. Haven't decided to do that yet. This is an offensive point. They're trusting their O-line, even though they went down a couple breaks in this game to get the job done. 11-10, Valkyria up. We're in quarterfinals here at the xEUCF 2021 in Bruges.
So Lisa Rieder over to Nikki Prehn. No one coming around, looking a little static. It's a high stall reset, but of course Nikki Prehn, so experienced, able to put that one out. A little bit of a strange curve, but effective enough to hit Simona Liebert, who thinks about the launch, but finds Prehn on that far sideline. Valkyria trying to do everything they can, but it's Katharina Schulze, has Vida Forsch available. Coming back now, though, as we see jinX trying to be conservative, just about trying to squeeze. Now they find a bit more structure, don't like the around. Great coverage from the handler marks. It's going to be another high stall, risky biscuit, but snaffled up, of course, by Sarah Eklund with ease.
So now Valkyria with this power line out, a chance to extend their lead, try and get themselves in that semifinal placement.
Nice give go. Asking a whole heck of a lot of Sarah Eklund. It's Molly Robbins on the chase. It's Molly Robbins for the goal! Layout score, and Valkyria get a break again and put themselves in the business end of this match ahead.
12-10. Took the lead for the first time at 10-9, and now really with the advantage. And jinX gonna have to figure themselves out, sort themselves out with this big roster. Are they gonna tighten things up, and really try and put the stop the bleeding, or are they going to trust their O-line? Interesting coaching decisions. It's always hard to do. It's a lot easier to kind of transition O-line stars onto your D-line, but at some point, if you have players like Anna Gerner, maybe you want to put him on the O-line. As I say that, she seems to be stepping onto the field.
Well, talking about some of the stars of jinX's, we see a slow-mo replay there of Anna Gerner. It's such a shame to see her. She broke her arm at Sandslash and has strapped herself up here, throwing nothing but lefty backhand. Well, not offhand backhands and right-hand backhand. She's a backhand machine.
3SB is now brought up to within 1 against Kubschout. The score 12-11 in that game. Yaka 14-9, just about finished against Love. Gravity Free Speed Ladies 11-10 here. 12-10, Valkyria up on jinX.
Well, we are pretty close to the time cap being applied to this game. We don't have any visitors
It's
here
Molly Robbins on the chase. It's Molly Robbins for the
in
goal!
the xEUCF in Bruges. Each game being wonderfully chaperoned by the scorekeepers. You see on the far
It's an
side.
immediate put to Anna Gerner, who
comes
lays up.
in for jinX on the under. Finds Gerner. It's going to be a little bit too high though. Can it be taken away? It's taken away by Ekborg. Over the pack, a costly error at this stage of the game for jinX. Undan Frank puts it across. Hornlong has Robbins coming in under on the far side. Curves her field. Oh, there's going to be an error. Huge missed opportunity for Valkyria. They are in front, but that would have put them really leading a charge.
Just a complete miscommunication there. The cutter going up the line as the thrower thought she had space open behind her.
Oh, a little stumble there. The pitch really getting churned up by these hard cuts here. Great shading there from Prehn, who puts it immediately into the end zone, and that keeps the dream alive for jinX.
Molly Robbins very close to getting a D on that Prehn throw, but it works out for jinX. 12-11. Scores really close here, and Valkyria, you know, had some of their stars not out on that point. Eklund was able to rest, so yeah, 12-11 here. We don't know if the cap is going on, probably sometime soon.
It should be soon. We've had a 90 minutes and change expire on our time clock here on this live stream, bringing you wall-to-wall action all day long of the xEUCF 2021. So we're not going to see us, I think, go to the full 15, but this is getting tight as it gets.
Look how close Molly Robbins was there on that D. She had the layout score on the previous point, getting really involved here. One of the key players on this Valkyria side.
It's just letting that one fall to the ground in front after a dirty hold for jinX. Now we see the chase down there for Anna Gerner, matching up against Renata Van Nijt, who's been so useful for this Valkyria side. They don't look like they're tired. They are quite clustered around the front, though, coming through Sophia Eklund. Easy pop to Van Nijt. Caldwell. Nice giving and going and flowing. Oh, huge bid attempt. Oh, Katharina Schulze with the layout block.
Huge play by Hugo, and now jinX have the chance to bring things back to level.
Oh, it's getting tense here. It's getting exciting. Caroline Tisson picking up the disc. Bit of a late start from jinX. Not high out the blocks, just nice and confident.
Step a little hesitant.
Oh, I like that saucy inside shot. Gerner having to go full reach to take it in. But Valkyria doing an amazing job of shutting down mostly the open side. Oh, that is a beautiful put from Caroline Tisson, but it's just going to be a little bit too far. Simone Libert trying, but not quite able.
Squandering a great opportunity there, our jinX, and now Valkyria get a chance to keep their lead. Very close game here, Hannah. Very exciting stuff here in the quarterfinals of the EUCF.
Absolutely, Ravi. I'm starting to get that little feeling as we reach the final few moments. Bringing us back in will be Nadia Melnikova. Oh, it's going to be a big put. Caldwell in the deepest space, but that has Sarah Eklund's name all over it. Kundalita going for deep as well. But Valkyria choosing to holster here, be patient, conservative. Melnikova finds Eklund, who's pulling all of the duty on all sides of the disc for her team. Such a wonderful athlete. Great fakes from her sister Sophia. Oh, and it's coming through. Caroline Tisson catches Barbora Kundalita, the Eurostar, sleeping, and gets it back for jinX.
They are putting their all into this point here, our jinX. They know that this might be their last opportunity to bring things to a reachable situation.
And on the sidelines, we have the Wall City lads coming in to give a bit of support as jinX really try and get themselves ahead. Hugo, Katharina Schulze pops it. Oh, and it's an error. Costly there. Tries to find Govic, but not to be. And this is a golden opportunity. Relatively short field for Valkyria, but it's too low, and they give the disc back. Not able to connect with Diesel Caldwell.
A lot of big plays, a lot of big nerves. It's a sloppy point. It's going to be a dirty hold or a dirty break either way. Caroline Tisson trying to get a break here for jinX.
Yep, getting the block on Kundalita earlier, and there's going to be a timeout call. That is wise, I think, in this point. Both teams needing a little bit of time to settle.
Timeout's been called on our clock. We think the game's been going about 95 minutes, so I would guess this is the last point. We'll add one to that and play to that, but we'll try to get confirmation on that as best we can for you, our viewers.
So in this timeout, such a crucial stage in the game, jinX really need to punch this one onto the scoreboard, because if they don't, and when then going into cap, that's a really hard ask to shut down the star line of Valkyria for that long.
Especially how well they've been playing in the second half of the game. It looked a little bit shaky the first half, but they've really found their footing. Wind picking up here You wonder if that could favor jinX, since Valkyria is more of an indoor style team, might not handle it quite as well.
I think I like that take. We did see them struggle a lot in the wind against Shout yesterday. So I think the time has expired during this point. We've just had confirmation from the wonderful Phil Johnston, one of the Wall City chaps, coming in to give a bit of support, having recently moved.
So we will finish this point, add 1 to the highest score. If jinX get it in, it'll be Universe. If Valkyria get it in, it'll be a game to 14.
Ooh. I have to say, Ravi, I quite like the idea of jinX scoring it and putting us immediately in Universe.
Well, I know the fans would love that.
Well, we've got some pearls of wisdom trying to come in on the chat. jinX needs to center it and get away from the sideline trap from Ed Discgold. Well, at the moment, not too bad field position-wise. A little bit shaded to the far side as we see Kundalita marking up against Caroline Tisson. So the O-line for jinX. Oh, and it's an immediate put, but that's going to sit and hang and fade too far away from Anna Gerner, just making sure Sophia Eklund tipping it out of the pitch. But that was a bit of an obvious play, perhaps, Ravi?
Yeah, it's not probably what they exactly wanted to do. Definitely execution-wise. So now Valkyria with the chance to extend their lead. Try to give themselves a buffer before this cap gets applied.
Well, there's been some amazing defensive play from jinX in this point as we grind our way through. Eklund pops it back. Vanita has to look around, working really hard. Oh my good, what smothering coverage. Anna Gerner trying to come through, but it's going to be a goal for Barbora Kundalita. Sneaks it past the shoulder of Tisson, but the stall out might bring us back. Renata Vanita, was she able to get that one past the mark? Is that Wagner there?
So there's a stall out applied here, being called. There's a lot of disagreement. Contested stall out. The stall will be coming in on 8.
It was definitely a high stall throw for sure. The handless set defense from jinX in that little sliver just there. Oh. You see another look at that big goal over the shoulder of Caroline Tisson. Big contact, but all fair in love and frisbee. Oh, and it's a block from Anna Gerner. She couldn't come up with a layout one, but takes one in the air instead, gets the disc back for her team.
So jinX, Caroline Tisson trying to bring this to a Universe point situation, guarded by Kundalit.
Lovely early cuts from the back of the stack. Schulze coming in, pops across the field. jinX now going and flowing. Oh, but it's an error, bit of pinball with a self. Veljovic unable to keep hold of that one. Valkyria again with an opportunity to put themselves with a nice big cushion in the late stages, the dying gasp of this game. It's given us so much trading. Oh, and it's going to be Sada Eklund versus Nikki Preen, and Eklund reads it. Preen going up a little bit too short of it. And that is 13-11 now, game to 14 in this women's quarter-final. Valkyria leading the charge with force.
So we've been talking a lot about the line management decisions. Be interested to see what Valkyria go with here. So one approach, put in the power line now. Just let them play the rest of the game. Let's try and finish it now. If they have to play O, call a timeout, rest them. Another approach, let your D-line try and do it. Really rest your O-line, give your other players a chance. But you know your O-line's going to be fresh. Trust them. They're going to bang it in. We'll see right now they're going with the former. Sarah Eklund on the field. Barbara Kundalits going on there. Of course, Molly Robbins, Oda Umlong, the stars of the D-line themselves. So a very powerful line out here for Valkyria. I think their stars are not going to leave the field until we get to semifinals.
Absolutely, and I love the respect of pulling the power line. You know, if you, at this stage in the game, if you say, okay, we're going to put our D-line out, we're going to give our stars a chance to have a break. It's sort of like the attitude of maybe being, okay, we'll give you a soft one. You know, we'll say, we feel comfortable enough that this is enough of a cushion. Like if they were 5 points up, maybe we'd see that, but it's still so close. If it goes to 12-13, then that's suddenly a very different narrative. and it puts a lot more pressure on the shoulders of that star line. So I like the respect given of, no, we have to fight for every single point. We might have a buffer between us and our opposition, but jinX are mighty handy too, as we see Nikki Priyan coming under, nearly having to make the bid. Huge pressure from Holmbo. Siebert near side. Wegener very available. Stack a little bit closer this near sideline here. Oh, great marking from Sarah Eklund. Oh, and just a little flobbly out into the path of Tisson for the reset. But great shut down Priyan now. Tosses it into Rida. Caroline Tisson with a lovely striking cut horizontally immediately across. Oh, and that's just a bit too much flobbly wobbly, but a call on the play.
She's calling a foul on that throw. It looked, the way it was coming out of her hands, it kind of looked like the throw I would expect. It's like a look on the replay here. I don't really see an argument for a foul there unless she touched the disc while the disc was still in her hands.
Well, we'll let the two of them chat it out. I think it's always some of the most difficult foul calls to make an assessment on is when it's got the hand contact. It really is, depending on how we do it, but well-spirited, coming back after a quick discussion. It's going to be over the top, though, and that probably didn't quite deserve to come off. Vera Forsch has a go at it, but great defensive pressure from Valkyria's star line here as we see Ungert Frank picking up the disc. She has Sarah Eklund off to the races immediately. Tasked with covering her is Wegener. Hormlung looking a little bit lost for options. Eklund now. Hormlung going up that far sideline, squeaking it through. Oh my goodness, that is a huge ripper of an break side pass and just about brought in, and Valkyria with the goal. That hook was so nice, she had to catch it more than twice.
That was a thrice. So Valkyria will advance to the semi-final round against Kuzbschat. That game will be streamed later today. Also, Dublin Gravity have defeated Free Speed Ladies. They will play Yaka in the other semi-final. So we're down to 4 teams here in Bruges as the Swedes play a fantastic second half to come back and win this game against jinX. Props to Valkyria. We'll see them in semis.
Well, commiserations to jinX. They fought so hard. They were in charge up until the third point of that second half, where Valkyria just went on such an absolute run. 4 points on the trot to get themselves well ahead. It just has to be said, they just pulled it out the bag at the last moment. So stay tuned here. We've got Seskia Discus versus Putti up here on field 3. But we're going to take a short break. But that women's quarterfinal, woof, what a game. We'll see you real soon.
ulti.TV.